Got one day until one of the most important elections. You've heard this time and again. I almost feel guilty repeating it. Our lifetimes are going to be shaped by what happens the next year to 3 years. It's going to shape what the next couple decades look like, for real. And let's be clear, this election is not a referendum, it's a choice. It's a choice between two very different visions of America.
Welcome back. What's our new slogan? I can't remember.
What's our new slogan?
What is it, Willie? Come on.
We coined it.
Yeah.
Joe says, Morning Joe, and we're going to get this on all the merch.
Could we?
Morning Joe.
And the mugs.
All of this is wrong.
Exactly.
But let's get on with it.
Okay, let's get at it. All right, joining us now, political strategist and pollster Frank Luntz and co-founder and CEO of All In Together, Lauren Leader joins us as well. Good to have you both.
So Lauren, the question is really, are young voters going to get out today?
Women.
Are women going to make a difference? What are you looking at?
I mean, I think these early voting tallies are very exciting. And I think we did take away in 2020. People really got the message about turnout. And we're seeing it. And I think we're going to see some record numbers. There was concern early on that maybe they wouldn't be as high as some of these record turnout elections. I think they will be. This is an election people are paying attention to.
Yeah, Frank, what are you looking at today?
So I'm watching the districts where there are a high percentage of Latinos and Hispanics. They're a significant bloc. They've been ignored and forgotten for some time. They're participating now. In the past, Republicans have gotten between 28 and 38% of the Hispanic vote. I'm expecting them to get between 40 and 45% this time, and that could impact a couple Senate races and half a dozen House races.
You know, Lauren, there's been this remarkable shift. Hispanics are moving more toward the Republican Party. White suburban women are moving more toward the Democratic Party. It's just, we are seeing this move, this migration politically of two groups.
All right, but it's primarily Latino men. Latino women are not moving towards the Republicans at the same numbers. And we looked at this in all of our polling all over the summer. And again, back to like groups that are getting sort of overlooked and ignored, that is certainly among them. And I do think, look, I think it's not just about the suburbs, it's the independent women. And Democrats have really held their own with independent women. Wall Street Journal poll notwithstanding, I think it was overstated. And those turnout numbers, when we look at that early voting, all the models show it's heavily driven by women, heavily driven by a lot of those folks that registered this summer, since the Dobbs decision. So I think this is where, I really agree with Michael about some of these polls. There has been a lot of sort of Republican leaning, I think skewed and not exactly accurate polling. This big meal made out of this Wall Street Journal poll, it was 150 women. It was 150 women, tiny poll. So let's not overstate it. Turnout is everything, and turnout tends to be driven by women.
Frank, I know you're also looking at undecided voters today, breaking Republican, and the ones you've spoken to. What difference will that make today?
It's a very small percentage of Americans who are undecided in this election. The truth is, everyone has chosen their sides. But it's of the 5% that was undecided coming in today, they're breaking 2-to-1 Republican. There are going to be a dozen House congressional seats that are decided by 5,000 votes or less. When you break 2-to-1, that means that 10 of those 12 end up being Republican. If this trend holds, and one thing I would point out, an early vote and a vote on Election Day is the same thing. They matter the same amount. So don't count your votes before they're hatched.
Exactly.
It looks like a trend towards the GOP at this point.
So, Frank, we've been talking a lot about Arizona this morning. Kari Lake again yesterday. Just preposterous conspiracy theories about stolen elections. Are we overstating the fact that that sort of talk is a threat to Madisonian democracy?
You are not overstating it, and I encourage you to do it on both sides. Look, in life, there are winners and losers. You dust yourself up, you get back up, you get on the horse, and you try again. I hate this election denial because it undercuts not just our election system, it undercuts how we're supposed to live our lives. You accept when you go into politics that there are winners and losers. Be an adult. Be a human being.
Exactly.
Set a good example for your children. Accept your loss and move on, damn it.
Amen.
Amen to that. Lauren, little viewer's guide in our final moments here. What will you be watching for? The polls close tonight. We'll get some returns on the East Coast. It'll be up late out west. Where will you be watching to see how the night's going?
All of it. And I actually think there's a bunch of really interesting congressional bellwether races around the country, places you might not expect. I'm watching some races in Colorado. I want to see what happens to Lauren Boebert tonight. There's actually a very interesting race. She's running neck and neck with the Democrat Adam Frisch there. I think she actually could get a run for her money.
Lauren Boebert was the candidate who said if Jesus had an AR-15, he wouldn't have been crucified.
It's an amazing point, isn't it? It's an amazing point. But look, I think it's a turnout election, and when and high turnout elections favor Democrats, women are going to be driving this election as they have every election since 1980. They will be the deciders. That's what I'm watching.
Frank Luntz, Lauren Leader, thank you both very much for being on this morning, and that.